what we had was exactly what we've envisioned and I've envisioned for the few meeting in person, which is different people coming together under a common set of rules to grow together.
Yeah.
You know, and that was beautiful. So I would change nothing about that.
Welcome to the Fuel Hunt Show.
All right, guys. I'm Drew, co-founder of Fuel Hunt, and I'm sitting here with my cousin and co-founder Joey, and our email marketing ninja strategist. We'll go with. Today we have a very special episode. We're going to be switching it up. I will be doing the interviewing of these two ninjas and hardworking members of the Few, because this weekend they did our first ever annual Few Fest. We'll call it that, right? We can call it the annual Few Fest. Mm-hmm. So if you guys could please, Joey, I'll allude to you first. Mm-hmm. Explain to the community what is the Few Fest and where did the idea for it come from?
Yep. So borrowing from Jesse's book, right? He said that when he heard the name The Few Fest, they thought it was going to be much more fun than it actually was because there was some suffering involved. Yeah. But so in all seriousness, a big goal for us this year is to bring the Few together in person. We've done a great job of bringing the Few together online, on the interwebs, the internets, social media. But a big goal this year is to bring the Few together in person to really maximize and magnify our impact on society, right? So the Few Fest was the first in-person event of many, and it was held here in Philly, began at HQ. Do you want me to go through exactly what it was?
Let's stop there. Let's first start with where the idea came from.
Yeah. So obviously we've got the goal this year of getting everybody together in person, but before that, we did a thing called Suckfest, right? Mm-hmm. And we had to change the name because, you would just Google it, Google Suckfest, and it wasn't really it wasn't the vibe, dude. It wasn't the vibe we were going for. It was not
what, just for all those.
Just to everybody be clear.
Just so we're all on the same page.
Right.
Nothing like that went on.
Right, exactly. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
So we did Suckfest, I guess, 2 or 3 years ago. And boy, did it suck. It was 4,000 reps in the gym and walking or running over a marathon. So I think we ended up around almost 30 miles. Yeah. It's completed in one day. And it's a misogi. So the theory behind that is you're going to do something super hard at the end of the year in December. That's going to make all the rest of the days of the following year that much easier. So the Few Fest is modeled after that. It's a misogi, but Jesse and I will get into it a little later. We're going to do it more often because why not?
I hope so.
Why not?
I hope so.
I feel like Jesse came all the way from Texas because he's coming to a party.
That's what he said. We were like 3 miles in, and he was like, No, actually, no. We were further than that. We were probably double digits in, maybe 10 miles in. And he was like, The Few Fest sounds much more fun in theory.
In theory.
Yep. And it's funny that you say, and this is why I'm interviewing you guys for, because I personally, you say that it's supposed to make the rest of the year that much easier, but the following maybe like week or so after the Few Fest, I'm on my own gut health journey. So that last Suckfest broke my stomach and my gut and caused me all sorts of problems. So I'm in my healing journey. I'm in my healing era. So I decided to sit this Few Fest out. So while we're switching,
joined, no? You were here.
Oh yeah, I was here in spirit. I was with you in spirit on the Rock. I was doing all the social media work on the back end, making sure you guys were getting blasted in the community and kept the community up to date with where you guys were on the Rock and the journey.
Most importantly,
yes.
Yeah.
So updating.
So can you tell us?
We do have a fourth guest that we just, he's going to be pissed. He is going to be so pissed he didn't get a proper introduction.
So could you tell us what the Few Fest was in relation to Suckfest?
Sure.
And also tell us where Ernest came from.
Okay. So how about I take the tactical, what it is, and then how about you take the Ernest story? Because you and I were together when we made this decision for Ernest. Okay. Ernest is the eagle.
Yes.
He didn't get a proper introduction. We're going to hear about it after this.
EARN.
We're going to
Ernest.
hear about it after the show.
Okay.
Ernest,
I didn't get that at
see?
first.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to hear about it after the show. So the Few Fest, 500 reps at Fuel Hunt HQ here in our gym, right? Any movement you want, any body parts, whatever, you just have to do 500 reps. That is followed by a ruck, right? You choose your weight. So we had ruck weights from 20 pounds to 45 pounds in our rucks. After the ruck, which is about 16 miles, it's from here, Fuel Hunt HQ in Frankfurt, section of Philadelphia, to the Liberty Bell in Old City, Philadelphia. And we chose the Liberty Bell, obviously. You know, the community and the company, Fuel Hunt, the company, were founded on 3 pillars: freedom, hard work, and service to others. So we chose Independence Mall as the destination intentionally. Mm-hmm. Once we ruck from the Liberty Bell back to HQ, 500 more reps here, right?
So it's a day. It's a day for you.
It's a day. What I will say is, and Jesse will attest to this, I love some good suffering. And it just so happens that we had a small, strong crew for the Few Fest, the first one. Mm-hmm. Just so happens they did too. So I was about 50 reps into my 500 in the beginning, and I'm like, what if we brought the tank, right? What if we brought the tank, which is a sled? It's a 4-wheel sled that Bedros gave to us when we moved into HQ as a gift. What if we brought that with us and we pushed the sled along the rock too? Like, so we're thinking of like all these creative ideas to just make it harder, like right out of the gate. Like it wasn't hard enough, right? So Trevor, one of the few that was here and joined us for Few Fest, he said, hey, I have a sandbag, an empty sandbag in my trunk. I said, fuck yeah, let's go. Fuck it, Bucket's not here yet, so I can still curse. Yeah. I said, let's go. So we pass a Lowe's on the way to the Liberty Bell. So I said, bring the empty sandbag. A mile in, we'll stop at Lowe's. We'll fill it up, 45 pounds, and then we'll each alternate. You know, every mile we'll carry the bag in addition to our ruck weight, just to make it, you know, that much harder. So,
Can I just really quickly?
Yeah.
I didn't know that extra 40 pounds was happening. Like, I thought that was just going to be for him. I thought he was just a psycho. And then we get to Lowe's, and that's, you know, to get the rocks to put into the bag, 40 pounds worth. And then out of the corner of your eye, and I think my eye too, we catch the eagle.
Yep.
And we're like, oh, we definitely need to bring
He's
bring
probably
this guy
about
along.
a 20-pound eagle, would you say? Like, I don't think
He's sturdy. He's sturdy is what matters.
he's, I mean,
He's
you know, he's a
perched.
good,
Yeah.
he's a good, you mean pound, how heavy is he?
Yeah, 20 pound
He's
eagle.
probably 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
He's probably 15, 20 pounds. I mean, yeah, he carries it. He's very muscular. I mean, that's
Very
what
well
it is.
done.
Yeah.
Very well.
It's a real eagle, by the
Yeah.
way.
So, we'll get into that.
Our
So
petty.
we made the group decision to grab him. We had to. There's
Yes.
like no. We saw him and we're like, look, we're taking you.
Yeah.
You know, you're coming with us.
He's literally flying with us.
So you mentioned Trevor. Let's talk. So for those who don't know, the first annual Few Fest was only open to our Fuel Hunt Rise members. That is our personal, private, paid community, where you get gear and growth benefits. We have speakers coming in multiple times a month. We have Joey and I do monthly coaching calls for all the members. A lot of interaction with the few and fellow hard workers, and people cut from the same cloth are all in there giving advice on fitness, nutrition, martial arts, entrepreneurship.
Mindset, everything.
The energy is just electric.
Yeah.
So we decided to make this first one small and test it with only members of the Rise community. So could you tell the community who was there and what you guys did together?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, we had a small, strong group for the first one. We had about 10 Eagles sign up for various reasons, all acceptable. The group was 5 people for the Few Fest, right? Me included. So a small, mighty group.
Yeah.
We had, obviously, Jesse in from Texas.
Yeah.
Okay, and as you mentioned, Jesse's part of the HQ team, not at HQ on a daily basis, but part of the HQ team, right? Email and SMS strategy. He flew in from Texas. We had Danny from Jersey. we had Richie from Jersey, and we had Trevor from New York. So distances were covered to get here. You know what I mean? To participate in the Few Fest. So basically, what you got is, like I said, Jesse, email and SMS strategist, right? A teacher, a chemist, a personal trainer, and a complete psychopath in me. Now, an entrepreneur in me, right? So, what do you get when you mix all of those people together with 1,000 reps and a 16-mile ruck? Like a damn good time. Yeah. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
I want to hear from both of you guys. What were some of the highlights, the ups and the down? Were there any down parts where you're like, fuck this? Like, I'm not like.
No, that never crossed our minds.
No,
not a single time.
So Jesse, hit us first. What was the highlight of the day for you?
Dude, I mean the highlight was also kind of the worst part, which was like the last couple miles. But I will say, coming into it again, I didn't really know what to expect. I knew it was going to be painful to some degree. Yeah. And like, by the way, this is my birthday gift to myself. Yeah. I flew out here for my birthday to like obviously hang out with y'all, but for the Few Fest.
To suffer.
To suffer. Yeah.
You gave yourself the gift of suffering.
You know what?
I respect that.
One of the most priceless gifts. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And now I will say early on, it's like we're all getting to know each other, having a good time on the ruck. And, we had a couple instances even early on that were just kind of funny. We can get into a little bit later, like the Rise dispensary that we passed, and like just some of the characters that we met on the ruck. Obviously, carrying around the eagle was kind of interesting, so Ernest brought a lot of attention. Definitely, that was one of the highs. Like once we got into the main part of the city, just so many people like wondering, "What are you doing? You're sober doing this all? Like what?"
It was a big thing we got.
So good. But definitely towards the end, like when every part of like waist down, my body's telling me to stop walking. This is painful, shin splints, blisters, all of that. And it's like, no, we're all gonna do this together. And we're gonna not only finish and bang out the last 500 reps, we're gonna all celebrate and eat some great food afterwards. And
Joey took you guys to the spot.
Brisket boys.
Brisket boys.
Brisket boys.
Let's go.
Some Sweet Lucy's. Yeah, Sweet Lucy's.
Yeah.
It was harder than I thought, only because of the introduction of that sandbag. That really, Trevor, shout out to Trevor, OG number one, great human, lives by the rules of the few, just a great dude overall. But he blessed us with so many gifts. He blessed us with the sandbag. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He blessed us with Ernest's name. Yeah. Right. So we secured the eagle.
Yep.
And we were throwing around names, Ezekiel, all this other stuff. He was like, he's carrying the sandbag first 2 miles like a savage. Yep. Not speaking or anything. We're going back and forth on this eagle name, going down Armango Ave. He's like, Ernest. And boom, there it is.
I think I can one up that name though.
Oh no.
Ernest rather than Ernest.
Ernest. Is that a name?
Ernest.
Ernest. It's like maybe that can be his nickname.
Yeah. Because it's like you can actually earn it in the name.
Yeah, I got you. I
like it.
We did change the spelling. Jesse made sure it was, let's add an A.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
You know what I mean? Let's add an A. But yeah, it was definitely harder than I thought just because of the addition of the sandbag. It wasn't brutal like Suckfest. Suckfest was brutal.
Yeah,
like, I questioned my life.
There was a point, I was wondering, I was asking the question because I was wondering, there was a point in time in Suckfest, the OG, like the first one, where I was like, this is fucking terrible. And this was probably a bad idea.
Bro, it was like the original Suckfest. It was December. It was below freezing in Philly. I was in a t-shirt, no shoes. You know what I mean? And shorts, no shoes. That's my weirdness. I made these guys, before we left here. Oh no, we were on the rock, maybe like a mile or two.
We just started,
I was like, guys. I was like, you's got to make a promise to me. Don't let me take my shoes off. They were like, what, dude? I was like, look, half of Suckfest I did barefoot because I like lost my marbles.
I do want to preface, it wasn't completely barefoot. It was with your little weird toe shoes.
No, I took those off.
You were barefoot?
On your street. I was barefoot on the street.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, well, that's because I was out there for 4 hours longer than everybody else doing it.
Yeah, Joey had an Uber issue.
Yeah.
So I got there like 4:45 instead of like 3:30 or whatever. But anyway, it wasn't.
Not a lot of Ubers coming around at 3:30 a.m.
That's the issue. Right. So it wasn't as grueling. However, the addition of the sandbag, like I said, definitely made it level up the suffering, which again, Trevor, thank you, brother, for blessing us with that. Because we alternated, and like we did it in Vivos, so we were in barefoot shoes. I had in my pack probably with my weight and my supplies, like water, snacks, 40 pounds, and then the addition of the 45-pound sandbag, that's 85 pounds for a mile on and off. So it was the last 4 miles. I had some cramping that made it a little shitty, and then when we got back here, 500 reps, staring down the barrel of 500 reps was not fun. Yeah. Like the 500 reps in the beginning was easy. Yeah, I almost did 2,500. I started.
Yeah, he was doing the wrong math.
I messed the math up. I almost did 2,500. Everybody's finishing, and I'm like, wait a second, there's not what the? And I'm looking at my sheet and I'm counting, and I'm like, oh my God, if I would have continued on this route, I would have did 2,500. Yeah. So the 500 in the beginning, fine. 500 at the end, though, spicy.
I mean, extra spicy because it was difficult to sit down. The hips were just torched.
The hips don't lie.
That was what went in the original Suckfest, too. And I feel like what might have been better about the original Suckfest is you were just chipping away the whole time, whereas you guys were doing this whole ruck, and then you come back to more work, which is kind of
exactly.
And like I grew up in an area in LA. There's lots of hills and all this stuff. This was relatively flat, so I'm thinking that on the way there, like it's not gonna be that bad. But the accumulation factor of that extra ruck, that extra 40,
whatever it was, 16
15, 16 miles.
That's gonna be no matter how.
Longest ruck I've ever done before this was maybe 3 miles, 5 miles, like weighted, like with
it does go.
shoes.
You also do just commit to the fact that it's not really a health thing at this. It might be negatively affecting your health at this point. Yeah,
you're putting yourself in a position.
Maybe bodily, but mind, I feel like got way stronger.
Yes,
and also the fact that we had the community, even though it was just us 5, like that. Like I don't know if I would have put myself through this on my own virtually.
No.
But I definitely know that I want to bring this back to Texas and
anyone
light it
who
up.
does a Suckfest or something to that level, like a Goggins, that does something like that alone is another level of crazy.
Well, when a few Rise members, some things came up, they couldn't make it. Literally, these are people traveling in. So Daryl and Henrik did it virtually.
Yes.
Right. So Virginia area, and then also Finland. Henrik's in Finland, so he did Finland, which is nuts.
The snow and also crazy elements.
Yeah, like he had to shovel his like porch area where he does his reps for his program. Yeah. He had to like shovel that before he started, and then trudge it in the snow. So it got a little spicy. So what we agreed on was. And, I just casted your vote. I hope you don't mind. Yeah. What we'll do is we'll do a Few Fest quarterly, right? Yeah. So the next one maybe we'll do in like May, right? Then we'll do one in late summer. Then we'll do a full-blown Misogi in December, which will kind of be like the summation of the 3 Few Fests, so it'll be way harder. So maybe that one next December will be more like the original Suckfest, where it's a full marathon or whatever.
You think we're doing that one in Philly as well?
Well, this is the thing. Like, we've got this goal this year of getting the Few together. We've sent the emails, right, about captains. We've had over 200 members of the Few raise their hands to be captains in their city, counties, or states. So, sure, the Few's going to be getting together to have coffee. The Few's going to be getting together for, a traditional normal workout in a gym, right? But
maybe,
the Few,
maybe some recovery, maybe like a plunge
right? The Few will also be getting together for, it seems now, the Few Fest. I mean, we've got a hard commit from Jesse to get one going in Austin.
Okay.
Okay. So that'll be fun. So yes, we will have one here, but now we'll have them in other parts of the U.S. as well, and maybe the world.
Yep.
And also, I think we discussed we need to get Eagles like Ernest.
Wherever
we go.
Now we got to find a U.S.-based manufacturer.
Exactly.
If you're listening,
keep it 100%.
and you create figurines or statues.
Yeah, I want any smoke from this guy. You talking to yourself, man.
Please reach out to us.
Yes.
Drew@viewhunt.com.
So we have some ideas. Danny's on the job. There's a guy in Medford, New Jersey,
Okay.
that carves creatures, animals,
Okay.
out of wood.
All right.
So what we want to do is get a log made. So maybe like it's long enough that 3 people have to carry it at once, with our new screaming eagle on the front of it. Then what we do it after every Few Fest, we
Yep.
get one of those little wood burning pens, like the
Yep.
ones I had when I was a kid to do the thing.
Yep.
And we all burn our names into it.
That's
and that's
legit.
the log we carry.
Yeah.
TrustHardWork.com.
Yeah, on the log. There you go. Ernest, he will have a place in the
I
coming
think
Few
just,
Fest.
just here he has a place.
Oh yeah, he always has a place. I mean, look, I'm not gonna be the one to tell him he doesn't have a place. I mean, you guys can do that, but I ain't. Have you looked in that dude's eyes yet,
Yeah.
man?
It was so funny, like at the different angles, you're like, yo, it feels like he's looking at us right now. Like, what?
Yeah.
Well, starting to bring it in for a landing here. Is there anything that stood out to you in the day, or anything that you would change about your preparation or what you did during it?
One thing that I'll mention is, even though we had a small group, we had a couple decades represented. We had
Yeah.
20s, 30s, and 40s, right? We had all different types of professions. What we had was exactly what we've envisioned and I've envisioned for the few meeting in person, which is different people coming together under a common set of rules to grow together.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful. So I would change nothing about that. Would I change my nutrition during the Few Fest? Yes. A couple of Fuel Hunt Rise members got me hooked on these gummies, and I can't get off these gummies.
Shout out to
man.
Avery.
I can't get off the gummies. The bags over there. We had some guests at HQ today. They had their hand in the bag. I felt like, good, it's not just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
The gummies. So I would have changed my nutrition a little bit.
I will say, if I could go back to the OG Suckfest, I would have not done it fasted. So I did like 14 hours of just no food, just
No
water.
food?
Yeah, just water.
Psycho.
Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah. So that's definitely one of the things. I think that I took a little survey when we were at dinner about like level of difficulty for everybody, and everybody was at around like a 7, like around there out of 10, 10 being the most difficult, 1 being
Yeah.
easy. And I feel like since we're doing these quarterly and they're going to build up to a Misogi, that is just really going to be utter suffering at the end of the year. Around a 7's a good rating for
Yeah.
Just level up
difficulty.
1 notch each time.
Yeah.
8, 9, 10.
Yeah, exactly. One other thing I'll mention that was really great was the love that we got from Philly on the Ruck. Philly can be a hostile place,
Yeah.
man. You know what I mean? And especially some of the neighborhoods we're going through.
And we were a little bit concerned about that. Like
We
when
wanna
you're
do it during
mapping
the
out-
daylight,
Yeah,
you
when
know
you're
what I mean?
mapping it out, you want to make sure, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we want to do it during the daylight and, just make sure that everybody was safe and had an enjoyable suffering.
Safe in their suffering.
Safe in their suffering.
Speaking of, I wanted to mention Jesse giving himself the gift of suffering for his birthday. He sent me last night where he's staying in
Yeah.
the city.
Yeah, bro.
Did you approve that Airbnb?
We looked at it.
I didn't tell him until after. I was
Yeah,
like, hey,
we-
look.
We looked at it, and I told you, I was like, look, this Sunoco, don't go to that Sunoco.
Yeah, so
I said,
he's-
the ice cream shop across from the Sunoco, you're going to want to go there, don't go there.
Yeah.
Not only did he come for suffering, but he made it extra.
I mean, the joint's really nice.
Oh,
The
yeah.
place
Yeah,
itself
the-
is
the
very
spot
nice.
itself,
He's
yeah.
it's a mansion.
He's close. He's it's a 5-minute drive. He's a 5-minute drive from me, where I live. So
That's the funny
He just
thing
hits the
about-
bat phone, and then I can come.
That's
in.
the funny thing about Philadelphia is you could be in a great neighborhood on one block, and then the next block over.
City of neighborhoods,
it's-
man.
yeah.
City of neighborhoods, city of character. I mean, look, surprises every
I
corner.
will say one thing that I will change early on, the first 500 reps. I forgot for whatever reason we were rucking, like for real rucking. I actually hadn't decided if I was gonna for real
Yeah,
ruck.
yeah.
I think I told you
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
had like this chest injury. I'm like I don't know, like a ruck on me, like
Yeah,
it
it's
might
not,
hurt.
it's not easy.
It might suck. So I started doing lunges and squats as part of my 500 reps, and very quickly
Yeah.
I adjusted.
I thought it was
And
surprising that
pivoted.
Joey was doing deadlifts, like pretty not heavy, but like 185 it was.
Yeah, I was in 185, and I just did a couple sets.
But
that's
that
where
gets
I,
all the lactic acid down there, dude.
I know. And that's where I'll be honest, man. I was on a little, and we're going to talk about the high in a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry to extend your. I feel like we're taking back off again, but we'll come in for that.
You did
Go
already
ahead.
allude to what's coming next. So I'm trying to think about how we're gonna wrap this up.
We're just going to. We're going to let him do it. I ain't doing it. We'll talk about high. I was on a high in the beginning, man. It felt like the energy, us meeting in person was amazing, right? And then the energy of, we have guests come for Power Hour all the time, but the energy for the few showing up at HQ to do something like hard voluntarily on a Saturday when they could be doing anything else together, it just put me on a high, man. Yeah. So at some point, I lost count of my reps and I started doing deadlifts. I'm like, 185. So let's just do a bunch of deadlifts. Yeah. I was on a high, man.
So,
okay.
Now, what are we talking with this high you speak of? What do you guys?
So we'll bring it right back to
doobies on the wall.
Almost. So we'll bring it back to, we got a lot of love from local Philadelphians. Philadelphia can be a hostile place, but the brotherly love was out in full effect in Philadelphia on Saturday. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but we're fresh off the Few Fest. So, just to mention that. So 2 miles into it, about 2 miles into it, we got Ernest. We're marching down Aramingo Ave, not too far from here. And, we're getting some honks, some waves from the cars. Feels good. We passed a corner store down on Aramingo that, like, last year a car drove through the front of it. I don't know if you remember that car drove through the front of it. And there's a guy sitting there, and he's like, yo, where'd you steal the eagle from? Like, that's his first question. Like, not like, what's the eagle about? Or it's like, where'd you steal it from? And I'm like, wait a second. Do we look like it's theft immediately? Is that what it is?
It's funny. You remind me. My friends in college used to steal lawn gnomes from, like, wherever.
So maybe that's what it was.
That's just so interesting. That memory just popped into my head.
And yet we're rucking.
Yeah.
We're not like walking with like a crazy pace. Yeah, we stole this.
We
thing,
stole
right?
it. Like, we're walking really slow, man.
They'll never catch us.
So he was the first personality we encountered, but supportive after he asked the question. And then, getting into the high, Jesse has made a promise to himself for, is it the month of February?
Yeah. 30 days.
30 days,
Starting
okay.
on my birthday, which was on Friday.
Okay.
So 3 days, 4 days in now.
Okay, he's 4 days in. He is off the weed. How would you say it? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, sober.
No smoking. Yeah, sober.
Completely sober.
Temporarily or?
At least 30 days, reassess
Could
from
it go
there.
long? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Might extend it.
And there was temptation.
So
he conjured a lot of and manifested many obstacles that was just not planned. Yeah. One of them was this temptation coming up in multiple ways.
So there's a dispensary right around the corner from us, and it's called Rise. It's the Rise dispensary, right? So immediately we're hit with that. This is a Fuel Hunt Rise only event, essentially. Then there's the Rise dispensary. So we had some laughs about that. After we passed the guy that thought we stole Ernest, right? We had a guy tracking us. He was walking behind us, and I'm just programmed to be situationally aware. Right, yeah. So I'm programmed to be situationally aware because he was closing distance on us, right? And it's like 9:30 in the morning, but it doesn't matter. Or 10:30 in the morning, I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter. So he comes up on me and he's like, what are you guys doing? And I was like, we're rucking down at Liberty Bell, blah, blah. He's like, oh, it's a health thing. I said, well, kind of. It's a lot. Really. It's like, yeah, but not really. Mental health thing. He's like, well, I'm smoking right now. He said, I'm about to head in my house right there. I'm going to sit down on my couch and I'm going to smoke too. You guys are welcome to come in. So we got a invitation into somebody's home for not a hydration station, but a weed station. We could have stopped. A hydration station. I like what you did there.
Awesome.
So we could have stopped in. Again, appreciate the sentiment, appreciate the love. Ernest was like, if you guys do that, I'll never forgive you. So we passed.
That would have added another element
we passed.
Of suffering, most likely.
We politely passed. Yeah, exactly.
Doing that stone might have been another level of.
Yeah, well, as you said.
No, thank you. But I thought about it.
Well,
We did get
stoned. We did get stoned.
We
had
did
the stones. Trevor suggested instead of sand in the sandbag, which I've traditionally
I said,
used.
how dare you? How dare you? I thought that I was going to be sober, but no, we're getting stoned.
We're getting stoned.
With the extra 40-pound ruck.
Yeah.
We got pebbles, you know what I mean? With the small pebbles in there, which to his his liking. It feels like a massage on your neck, which initially it does for like the first 30
I can see
seconds.
it.
Then after that, it just feels like, you're carrying rocks on your back essentially. So met the hydration station guy. That was cool. Kept going, a lot of love. We then had people stop us and basically ask like, hey, are you sober? Like, are you drinking while you're doing this? And we're like, absolutely.
They had seen us earlier on in the day.
That was the other
they
thing.
saw us like an hour or so later, and they're like, "You're the same guys because we have carried this eagle. It's pretty stands out."
Yeah.
They're like, "You must.
They were
Like, you're not
passing by the
drinking?"
neighbor,
They were just so surprised. They're like, "You're not drinking? Like doing this?"
It could be like a
bar crawl.
If you were
Right.
drunk, it could be a lot easier. Like I've walked pretty far.
I don't know about that.
Not with a ruck on. We had that discussion. We were like, well, first of all, now I'm sober, so not an option. But if I stopped and had a beer, just one beer, like walking with that ruck and one misstep, oh my God, I'd clobber myself.
Shout out, Rich. He didn't sit, I don't think, at all. We took like one bio break for like 10 minutes.
Yep.
And we all sit
ate,
down.
We ate the snacks
Yeah,
we
a
had.
couple snacks that we had, energy bars, whatever, meat sticks, water. Rich is the only one that stays standing because he's like, yo,
I respect that.
I don't know if I'm gonna stand back.
I
up
always
again.
think about in a UFC fight, the guy that like passes on the stool.
That
dude's a badass.
Listen, Richie, he's got calves like fucking bowling balls. Number one.
Probably never trained calves a day in his life.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't look like it.
That's what.
That's what.
Some things are just genetic.
That's But savage strategy, and he's quiet, and he didn't mention the strategy to anybody. We sat at this table, similar to this. We sat at this table. We had our snacks. We're all kicking around how everything was going, and he just stood there and ate. And then all the four of us had to get up, and we're like, oh my God. And he's like, I know, see, that's why I was standing the whole time. I'm like, yo, let us in on the strategy, man.
In the OG Suckfest, that was the hard part. Is you would sit down for a bench or a squat to the. I was doing squats to the bench at the end because my hips hurt so bad. Yep. But it was getting back out on that run, the quarter mile or whatever it was.
Yep.
Was the challenging part.
So I'll leave you. I know I won't run you through everything that we encountered on the rock. I will say some of it wasn't positive. There was some negativity, which none of us really appreciated. The wonderful thing about the negativity that we encountered during it was immediately after the negative incident, there was a positive one, and that was the Fit Aid guy. Remember him?
Yes.
So we're working our way through Love Park, which ironically is where we had the incident. Working our way through Love Park, we cross the street, and we're heading back to HQ now, right? And we see a guy, and he's carrying his grocery bags, right? And he's got a weighted vest on with a Velcro Fit Aid patch on it. And he's got his headphones in, and you can tell he's on a mission. So he sees us, but he's like so mission focused, probably just like get home, whatever, that he doesn't really stop to engage. But he like looks at us, and we're just like passing, and we look at him, and like I point at him, and he's just like, and he just nods because he gets it.
So, if that was you, if you are that member of the few, please reach out to us on Instagram and please let
DM
us
us. Yeah, please DM us.
Because Fit Aid is someone we've worked closely with, one of our, I would say our partner brands. Like we have a lot of synergy. We do collabs together and stuff. So it's interesting that showed up.
How many Fit Aids were drank that day? Probably 20.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, for any fitness related event we have, we always make sure to have Fit Aids stocked up.
Yep. Yeah, so what are the odds? Weighted vest,
that's
Fit Aid patch on it.
That's a sign. Yeah.
I manifested a lot during that thing. I manifested a flood, dude.
Yeah.
I manifested a flood.
It wasn't
on Delaware
there
Ave.
on the way to the Liberty Bell. On the way back.
Power of the mind.
I asked for elements. I was like, yo, if it was raining, this would be really
It's not
dope.
raining. It's not snowing.
Legit flood
too
on
easy.
Delaware
It
Ave.
makes the
I
story
have video. Levy's cutting it into the video from the day, the flood. Yeah. So yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And Levy I don't know if he sent it through the footage yet. That was one of the things. Like, I was even speaking with Dane before the show. We have to have someone with us for the next Few Fest in Philly, documenting it, because there were so many just like micro moments on that ruck
Yeah.
that I really wanted the community to see. So much positivity and breakthroughs.
Getting one of our media team members to sign up for that is going to be, I'll put that on your challenge, your plate for.
I feel like in order for someone to really be in their skill set to create
They
the
gotta be
proper thing,
mobile.
they got to be mobile. So Dane's already said he's going to take off Tahoe cover on the truck.
Kurt was there for our first Songfest, but
Kurt was there.
He left and came back.
Yo, Kurt's got some documentary footage from that first one, man. I don't even know if I want to see that. I think my eyes were black.
He's still,
It's
he's still
still
putting
there.
together the documentary. We all went in like a room in my garage. Like at the end of it, we're like, that was the worst.
Yeah. I was trying to be insightful, and I was just like, pain.
Yeah.
No,
And that's it. That's it.
So okay, so like that, like the day was awesome. The food after incredible, but like day after,
Yeah.
how was that for you?
So day after, what I do is I stand outside for 4 hours in a stationary position in the cold, selling Girl Scout cookies.
Oh my god! I
with my
thought he
wife and
was going
daughters.
into some like biohacking routine.
No. Sunday's family day. So
Yeah.
like, I sign up, like whatever it is, I sign up. So I stood for 4 hours at the corner
That's how long you
of
guys sit out there?
26 and Brown and sold Girl Scout cookies. Now,
Was Everly
did
closing
Everly
deals
kill
or
it?
what?
She was closing.
Yeah. All right.
ABC, man.
Yeah, I'll
always
talk-
be
I'll
closing.
talk to her about her
600 in
closings.
sales on that corner.
Wow.
Ran a corner. 600 in sales.
Wow.
So I
Did
felt
they get a commission off that?
the troop gets a small portion for activities. Okay. So I felt fine the next day. My hips were tight, but standing in the cold, stationary for 4 hours, kind of added a little bit of additional challenge to it. I didn't bitch and moan about it, but and then after that, spent some more family time. I baked cookies. I made a baked cookies.
What kind of cookies?
Savage.
Just to.
Sugar cookies.
So you sold Girl Scout cookies
You went to go make your own.
Yeah, it was
when you had the world's best cookies at your fingertips.
Well, look, it was family day, man. I sign up. We do things. So,
I
how
will
about
s-
you? How about the
Day after?
for you?
Yeah, no, I didn't leave my Airbnb.
Was that because you didn't want to, or because I told you couldn't?
Well, a little bit of mixture of
safety
both.
or
It's a mixture of both. I would have Airbnb'd or Ubered out if I needed to get anywhere, but no, I DoorDashed like 7 things that day. One of which was 35 pounds of ice because your boy needed it.
I will
Recovery.
say the OG Sunk Best soreness was something to like overcome for a week
yeah.
probably.
Bro, I had to crawl up my steps when I got home. After that, we
you told me
walked
that.
up. We walked up my steps.
Yeah.
which was cool.
Just getting in the car was a
getting
mission.
getting in the Jeep was a mission. Yeah.
Well,
Look, I think that's all of our anecdotes. I mean, if we wanted to add one other thing, Jesse's never had duck before, so we're gonna correct that before you go.
Shouting it through Chinatown.
I've only ever had it at like a wedding, but it is good.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about like Peking duck, like
I never had.
with the. No, okay, all right. So look,
Like a
we just
Peking
found
duck?
another. Yeah, pick your duck out.
Oh no.
No,
Nah.
okay. You're still in.
Oh yeah, let's
Okay,
go.
all right.
Yeah, I'm not out.
Sounds
I'll
great.
try it.
Oh, you're saying you're
Yeah.
still okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying
As long
I've
as
never
it's
had
not
it.
a different type of bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else you would like to cover?
Good question.
I am
Because
excited to join you on the next one. God willing, right? Like I don't like.
you got time because it'll probably be May.
that.
It's gonna be May.
But I need my gut health to get to a spot where it's ready to withstand the pain and suffering of a misogi, because it is a lot. It's a lot on your microbiome, your mental,
Yeah.
your
Oh, yeah.
physical. Like, it's not for everyone.
No.
And even some of the hardest working people, the people that like to push themselves the most, my friends, I say, like, hey, you want to do this? And they're like, no, thank you. Like, it is what it is.
That was the thing. I mean, we did have some people come out and say it was like a little easy. I got like some comments about that, but not everybody showed up. You know what I mean? So how easy was it? Yeah, it's a lot. But I feel good at the prospect that you're going to be there for the next one, for the Ruck.
So, all right. So we'll wrap this up, but do you want to go over again the plans for the next?
I will. So the Few Fests will always be free for Fuel Hunt Rise members, right? This Few Fest, if you weren't a Fuel Hunt Rise member and you read my emails, you had the opportunity to join us for a couple bucks. It was like $29.
Yeah.
And then you get a free month of Fuel Hunt Rise with that. So that's the important thing to mention. Like, get in Fuel Hunt Rise because this stuff starts there. Yeah. You know, the ideas begin there. We kick them around with the community and then they become real life. So definitely join us in Fuel Hunt Rise. If you don't know what that is, Drew mentioned in the beginning of the show, but you can go to fuelhunt.com/rise. And you'll see a video of me with a black eye. Don't ask, explaining the whole thing. And the gear and growth benefits.
We're going to cover that on one of our next episodes.
That'll be a next episode. So we're going to do the Few Fest quarterly, and then we'll do a larger Muskogee, which might be Sufferfest. I mean, people are liking that name.
Oh my God.
In December. That's the plan. And keeping to our promise that we made for this year, we're going to spring these things up across the U.S. Would we love to have everybody here in Philly do it? Yes, but it's not practical for everybody to travel. We realize that, it's costly. So it's not practical for everybody to travel. So what we'll do is spring them up in Austin and other places across the U.S. for the few to participate. So stay tuned. Again, join Fuel Hunt Rise. And if you don't do that, read my emails because we'll make mention of it in the next coming weeks.
And if you want rides, you level up your brain, your body, and your business with just the people around you. It's social media for hard workers. I will say that it's hard to even go on Instagram sometimes because you have the people we're looking for right there.
I find myself there much more often now than Instagram, to be honest. And there's no bullshit with the algorithm and the trolling and not to say that you gotta always be around people that just think like you, but there's plenty of other places to get all that other input.
True.
You know what I mean? So Fuel Hunt Rise is a welcome place for Eagles.
So, all right, well, before I sign us off, Jesse, you got any closing remarks? I appreciate you, first, coming from Texas, second, risking your life in the hood of Philadelphia, and third, joining us for the Few Fest and also the podcast because people are getting emails from you as a member of our team, and it's nice for them to put a face to the name.
And how about even just like in a bigger realm, something that we didn't talk about? You know, we've been focused on the Few Fest and Ernest so much, like you believing in what we're doing and joining our team. You know what I mean? Like we couldn't do what we do without our team. That includes you. You're not here every day with us, but you are in spirit, physically, but you are in spirit. And I'm excited for the community to hear more from you, over an email and SMS. But what started in, I guess, a cold DM that you sent me, look where we're at now, man.
Wild. Wow. Well, and actually that Condition for Chaos message, that was the first message where I was like, these are my people. Let's go. So I appreciate that, man. I mean, I feel like we're only just getting started.
Yeah, it's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning. Day one, every day. Day one.
Day one.
The takeover, baby. All right, so with that, I'll remind you, the few always choose hard work over handouts, always choose effort over entitlement, and remember, no one owes you, no one owns you, you're one of the few. Let's hunt.
Let's hunt.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
All right.